Deze video is mede mogelijk gemaakt door Global Joy Media Groep.
So let's get into some things that I've learned and things that I think you can take away and take forward into your business. The first thing is that I think 20th century marketing was about being on message. The old features, attributes, and maybe benefits. I think 21st century marketing has to reflect the reality that the scientists have confirmed absolutely what I think we all know intuitively, which is that we are primarily emotional decision makers. So the question is, how are you going to tap into, how are you going to make emotions work for you in your 21st century advertising? Let me give you two quick examples.
There's an accident in this country every 5 seconds. Allstate thinks that's too often. So they have rewards to encourage you to drive safely. Now, for each year you go without having one of these, you'll get $100 off your deductible. It's called deductible rewards. It's time to make the world a better place to drive. That's Allstate stand. Are you in good hands?
People say I'm pretty obsessed with speed. Come to think of it, I like to do everything fast.
Hey, Mike.
When I started training for Beijing, I wanted to learn Chinese, so I got Rosetta Stone. They say it's the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. Fast. I like that.
With Rosetta Stone's dynamic immersion, you learn faster because you're matching pictures to words, the way you learned your first language. Only Rosetta Stone uses proprietary voice recognition technology to coach you on the correct pronunciation. And it features adaptive recall, which brings back material to give you help where you need it most for faster progress. Call now for more information and get a free demo CD. Rosetta Stone, the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed. Call now.
So the key thing is that thanks to facial coding, we can know whether or not these commercials are both on message and, more importantly, on emotion, and they are. Is a contrast. Let's start with the insurance ad. So they get 38% frustration while people are watching this commercial, and I say great, because the notion of anger as an emotion is about, I want to make progress and I want to be in control of my life. Well, if someone is slamming into your car every 5 seconds, you're probably not making progress on your way to work, and you absolutely don't feel in control of your life. So this commercial is creating the right emotion to fit what their strategy is in the commercial, except with one exception, which is they have 3 car accidents. And what we found out from looking at our facial coding data is that the first 2 accidents did get a frustration response. But if your TV is like American TV, all the detective shows have a lot of accidents and a lot of murders and a lot of things going on, and people acclimated so quickly that on the 3rd accident there was no frustration level. People actually went numb. So they would have been better off saying 2 is enough and let's move on into the messaging, because they needed more room to deliver that. Contrast the Rosetta Stone one, the frustration level, it's only 8%. And again, I say bingo, because in this case you're trying to learn a foreign language and you don't want to make it frustrating, you don't want to make it difficult, you don't want to get stopped in your progress. So if they had created a commercial that frustrated and confused people, it would be directly contrary to the nature of the offer itself and what they're promoting. So in both cases, they hit it. But let me give you an example that does not hit it. In the write-up for today's event, maybe if you read it, you saw a little bit about craft. And this example, we are testing for Crystal Light. And it was attractive women in frilly dresses dancing around to upbeat music. And I get back the data, and I can see the frustration level is pretty high, because I think, frankly, they edited it too tightly. People couldn't follow the quick edits in the video. But what really got my attention here was the sadness level. At 14%, that is 3 times our norm, and it doesn't fit the script, and it doesn't fit the offer. So I had my staff go back in and I said, okay, so where is the sadness coming from? And it turns out it was from the tagline, "Pump It Up." Now I go back into the verbatims. I say, okay, I want to know why the women, the target audience, is feeling sadness. And what I learned from the verbatims, not everybody said this, but some people did, is that lo and behold, "Pump It Up" makes it sound like I go to the gym all day. Like I'm a body Nazi. Like I am one of these people who's going to work out day and night and look as attractive as the models. And sadness in this case is anticipatory disappointment that I can't live up to the norm. Made even worse by the fact that they had thumping gym-like music behind it. And Kraft said to us, that's amazing, because the focus group told us they didn't quite like the tagline, but they couldn't tell us why, and they certainly couldn't quantify it, so we could take it back to senior management and get to agree that we had to make a change. So here's a case of being off emotion, and I'll show you one more very quickly. We just tested last week for my father's old company, 3M.
Post-it super sticky notes. Hold on stronger and longer than even our regular Post-it notes, but of course, remove cleanly. Post-it notes and Post-it super sticky notes.
So this is a mixture. There are some things in this commercial I think are on emotion and some things that are off emotion. For instance, I like in this case the sadness at second 3 because I think they're empathizing with the young boy's plight. He wants to get to that soccer ball. They care about the fact that he's disappointed and longing for something. So I think that does work. On the other hand, the key statement they wanted to make was last longer and stronger. And this is a new Post-it note, but they got the synchronization off. So the visual of the boy hanging to the Post-it note really registers with people when they suddenly are talking about the old offer, not the new offer. And they show the mother, and then the score goes down into both sadness and disgust because the audience in this case, the target market, was entirely female. You just showed a mother with her child, and then you yank her away visually, replacing her with the product. And people had an adverse reaction. So some things in this piece work, and some things don't work. We have gone through and looked at advertising. We've been doing this for 12 years now. And I'm at a point where I can actually say that I believe that frustration is the hidden emotional cancer of advertising. That far too often, either on the company side because too many messages are being stuck into the advertising to work, or on the agency side, they're editing it too tightly, so it throws people off. Here's one quick example from direct mail. We were testing for an insurance company, and they had so many people's faces in the direct mail piece. They had 13 faces on the cover of the direct mail piece, in fact. And I said, you know, that's too many things for people to look at. They're going to get frustrated. And to make my point, I decided to bring in Da Vinci's Last Supper. And I said, well, you know, there are 13 faces here too, but I know the story. I got one guy sitting in the middle, he's even got a halo around his head, so I can make the connection quickly. But I can't make it quickly with your direct mail piece. The joke that has to be explained to you is never as funny as a joke you just get. And that's what they're missing with 13 faces. The next thing is to be able to leverage visuals. Half the brain devoted to processing visuals. Here is somebody on a website page. And where that blue dot goes is where the eye is going. And when the dot gets larger, it's because someone's staying with the detail longer. And if there's a blue tracer line, it's because the person's looking for the next detail that interests them. And nobody can self-report with that degree of accuracy. And so this is a chance to say, okay, if I want awareness, if I want to break through the clutter, what are people looking at and in what order?